Then she closed her eyes again and tried to conjure up the image of B, kissing and holding her in his arms. She began to moan louder and tried to mimic a convincing orgasm as C moved faster and faster on top of her. "Why don't you ride him?" D yelled out, and A suddenly felt C lifting her up and onto his muscular body. As he rested the back of the heavy helmet he was wearing on the pillows. A began to move up and down, and when she realized that the moisture between her legs was no longer just spit she had spread there before entering, she felt terribly ashamed for a few moments. Nevertheless, she kept moving up and down, and as she stared at her glowing reflection in the camera lens, she could feel her thighs convulsing. She closed her eyes again and thought of B. But when C stretched out his hand to grab her breast, she stared into the camera again, and it seemed as if it was taking something from her in this intimate and vulnerable moment. B awoke with a terrible headache, shivering and coughing in the small, cold bed, and instinctively stretched out his hand in order to touch A's warm, comforting body that he accepted beside him. But when he found nothing but the hard springs of the mattress, he opened his eyes and croaked, "Babe?" Then he was shaken by the heavy coughing again, and so he closed his eyes and rolled up into a fetus position. When he finally raised his burning eyelids again, he could not make out A's thin silhouette over at the kitchen table, where she was lying stretched out in the chair with their smoking glass pipe in her lap. B tried to say something, but he could not bring himself to utter another word without coughing when he tried to ask where she had been. And so he grasped for her backpack that was lying on the floor beside the bed. When he found a large amount of cash inside, he could not help but scream out in surprise, though. And as he was shaken by another salvo of coughing, he could hear A's dazed, jittery voice from the kitchen, who mumbled, "It's for us. It's for this film shoot I went to today." Through his tired, red eyes, B could still not really see A, but he could tell that she was more or less knocked out already from who knew how many drags on that pipe. Not really there at all anymore. He could feel a stinging in his chest, but then another item in A's bag demanded his attention. As he picked up the futuristic and expensive-looking silver helmet, A went on, "It was for these virtual reality headsets. They even gave me one. You can probably play games on this thing or something." I went out and I worked for us. I did it for us, babe. I did it for us. She kept moving her lips, but no sound left her mouth, as she kept muttering, "I did it for us. Did it for you." B wrapped the blanket around his shivering bones and eyed the strange helmet in his lap with amazement. He vaguely recalled seeing pictures of these devices, and after one last look at the hazy, strung-out figure of his girlfriend, he put the headset onto his head. Once the screen covered his eyes, he found himself in a forest. And when he turned his head, he saw rivers and lakes to his left and right, shimmering in the sun. But then everything went black, and all he could see was a small white symbol rotating in the void before him. Then the space lit up again, and suddenly he saw bed sheets and a pair of legs that looked familiar. When he bowed forward, he only felt cushions beneath his fingertips. In disbelief and utter confusion, B witnessed a naked body appear before him. And at its end, A's big, scared eyes stared back at him. When he looked down at his own body, he saw a strange, muscular stomach instead. And suddenly, B felt sick and nauseous. He got a stinging headache as his mind tried to adjust to this illusion. And when he was forced to watch an alien hand stroking a thick, veiny penis, he got even sicker, until the phantom limb entered his girlfriend, and he actually threw up in his mouth a little.